Excited today to have two new partnerships available for you to get to watch and explore and learn from. In the first half hour, we've got Sam Slater here with Watch Me Grow. And so he's going to give you an overview of their product and how you can tap into that. And in the second half hour, we will have Travis O from Playtag, who's going to bring information about their product StoryLine. These two AI products are very different from one another, but can support your learning environment in very creative ways. And so we just want to make sure that you know about them and can get connected if you have an interest in that. So without any further ado, Sam, take it away.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the invite today. Been looking forward to this for a little while. I know Dawn and I have had a chance to work together for a couple months now to get to this point. And it's funny. I'm actually at a conference right now for ALL, which is the Association of Early Learning Leaders, which is about 250 EC owners and directors. And so we're all here working on what does this year look like? What are the hurdles we're facing? What do we need to build for the future? And so all this fits in with what we're going to talk about today. And really, it's a lot of fun things that we try to give you guys to not only assist, but to empower you, your team, and all the things that you want to accomplish going forward. So some quick background. We are Watch Me Grow. We've been around the company since 1998. We have been in the camera world since day one. About a little, maybe 13 months ago now. This last year or so has kind of flown by. We did a merger with PB&J TV, so kind of the 1 and 1A companies in the EC world that did live video streaming, security, all the things wrapped into one. And now we kind of put together the best of both worlds. So they had some features that we didn't. We had some features that they didn't. And now we're just kind of combining everything to give you guys all under one roof and then kind of have a really cool plan going forward. And so we've done this for a long time. Our hearts are in this industry, just like you guys. And so it's been a lot of fun. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears have gone into this to get us to this point. And now these are just new chapters that we're coming across with the different AI functionalities. We have a really cool CAB board, which is our owners that help guide us in where we go next with what we're going to accomplish and put out for you guys to utilize. So I'm going to share some things with you. I've got a few videos. Want to bring up the website and some of the platform and kind of let you deep dive and see behind the scenes real quick. I've gotten a chance to speak a lot of times over the last 15, 20 years, and we all develop a style and things we love to do and things we don't love to do. And so just to let you know, one of the things that I don't like to do is I don't want to read anything that I put on the screen for you. You guys can read. Everything's on the website. It'll be there for you. But I'm just going to kind of highlight it, and we'll kind of go through it together. So first things first, let me pull this up real quick and share my screen with you guys. And what that's going to do is it's just going to allow me to kind of show you what we do. And then make sure we get audio here and pick the right one. And we're off and running. Ms. Dawn, are we good? Everybody can see, hopefully?
Yes, we're good.
Perfect. All righty. Well, so what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into three different pieces here. And so these are three big parts of the platform that we want to give you guys to utilize. And the great part about what we do is there's no one size fits all. You guys are each individual centers and owners with unique personalities, and the way you go after things and do things is completely different. And so we never want to be a one size fits all program. We want to be able to build this out that fits your agenda, that fits your objectives for you, your team, whether that's geographically, demographically, all those things come into play that we want to be able to adjust and adapt for you all. Piece of the puzzle number one is our core platform. I like to say that this is kind of the foundation or the pillar that starts everything. And it really is, because out of the gate, day one, you guys have to be able to, what I like to call, protect what matters most. And that is three things. That is the kids, your staff, and your brand. And those three things have to be protected at all costs. And so what this does is day one, you need to have video recordings. You need to have video that you can not only see what's going on inside the center at all times, you need to be able to go back and review footage and case anything were to occur. And then you also need this video for training purposes. So those are the three things that we really stress is a need to run in and day out. And so we can get deep dive into all three of those and how they sort of branch out from there with different pieces, but those are the highlights. So our goal is to get you a platform that you can see from anywhere. You'll have access to all those recordings day in and day out. And then the thing about the system now is that we run off of an AWS server into a cloud. And so a lot of times many centers will have cameras and they say, I've got cameras, we have recordings, but what happens when the NVR goes down on site, which is the box that all the cameras plug into? What happens if this camera goes out and you no longer have that? AWS allows us to have what we call cloud clipping. And so you're actually saving video to the cloud that you can then review later on, even though it's no longer on the system. Even if the system is down, you're going back and being able to pull up those cloud recordings because they're not centrally localized, to that one box at the center. So we're giving redundancies here. And there's a lot of redundancies in the security as well too. Phase 2 is our active supervision AI. This has been a lot of fun over the last 2 years. We've launched and relaunched it a couple of times just based on getting feedback and how to improve it. But what we're doing nowadays in the camera system is allowing us to tell whether there is an adult or children in the room. And this is fantastic for a lot of reasons because it's going to be the baseline for a lot of other features that are going to come out over the next year or two. But this was the one to get correct first, right? And so what we're doing with this information now is we can actually identify when there are kids in the room or kids on the playground and there's not a teacher in sight or in that room. And this is a huge step for us because one, we are now able to send you guys alerts immediately when there's a child in a room and not an adult present at that point. Now, a few things happened since we've launched this. One, we found that it is sometimes, especially on the exterior of the building, not always a unsupervised child, but a proximity issue. So now you've got only a warning system, but a new training system. So when you get these alerts, you're now able to look at what's going on and either act if it's a need for act or train if it's a need for training at that point. So again, lots of pieces to these three that we can get into anytime you guys want. But basically what happens is it creates alerts, and these alerts are created by events that are in the system. So your team and yourself can go back and look at all of those events, and you're actually able to train the model specifically for yourself inside the school. So every time there's an event, you're not only going to review it, but you can then tag it to specific things. Yes, this wasn't a child left alone. No, this was a training issue. This wasn't a thing at all. So it gives you guys the ability to kind of train your own model on site at that point. Third and final piece to the pillars here is Family Connect. We roughly work with about 5,500 centers across the country right now, and 85% of them have some version of Family Connect going on at their center. And what that does is it gives mom and dad slightly an open window to see what's going on at the center when their child is present. And so we've done a great job exploring integrations with a lot of our partners. So the Line Leaders, the Kangaroo Times, the Illamines. We are getting ready to work with Playground. We have a meeting next month to start the integration with ProCare. All of these things that will make it so much easier for you guys from a management standpoint, just to give mom and dad a few minutes a day to check in and see what's going on. And why this is important. One, it puts everybody on the same page. So allowing the center, the child, and mom to all know what's going on and be able to reinforce it. There was a Harvard study done called Broadcast Learning. And it's a really cool study where when little Susie, Johnny, or Damon came home and you asked them a yes or no question, that's all you're going to get, right? How was your day today? What did you do today? And I've got kids of my own, and I've always gotten the same little answers of, it was fine. It was cool. I think my favorite one from my little daughter, though, was same old, right? And so I looked at her, I said, you're 7. There's nothing's the same old, same old. Everything should be different for you at this point in your life. But the point of the broadcast learning is that when you're able to let them come home and ask them a question or speak to them about something that you saw occur, now the cognitive piece to it begins, and they're able to explain what they went. Hey, I saw you during story time, ask a lot of questions and help out. And then now things start to begin moving in their brain, and you're stimulating them to the conversation and reinforcing everything that was happening at the center. So this is a completely controlled aspect. Like I said before, A lot of centers will do something where they can have access to a classroom for 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, just to give mom and dad access. It's also a great piece to build trust and rapport with parents that are just new parents in general. So little bitty infants and especially your littles, mom's going to love this. And then it's also great for new parents that are in the area, right? So they're looking for somewhere for somebody to trust with their most precious gift. And when you are speaking with them, hey, you can check in for a couple minutes a day and see, all the cool things that we do that you kind of hear about. It's a great rapport builder at that point in time. So lots of pieces to the puzzle. We're going to go into a few more here, but these are the three main pieces to the platform. And again, it's built based on what you want. So we do core plus AI, we do family plus AI, just core. There's lots of things off of those that we do that we're building specifically for your center and how you want to operate based on your needs of your parents and your geographical and demographic location. So let's log into the system real quick. So here you'll kind of see what the Watch Me Grow platform looks like. As you log in, you're going to have a lot of different feature sets. On the left-hand side, we'll have our standard dashboard. You'll see all your cameras in one space. And what's really cool, as I mentioned to you guys earlier, we have that cloud clipping feature. So as you clip those recordings, all of those are just going to be right here in your saved clip folders. And I'm going back and forth between two just because each one of these has a little bit different feature set that I want to show the team. And we're going to reload that guy real quick because there's always a little bit of technicalities when you're presenting. But save clips, all right here. You're going to be able to go to download and all those. Like I said, you'll see all your cameras. From a parent standpoint, you'll be able to see all your requests that come in. So it's really simple. Mom and dad just jump in, create a username and password, and nobody gets access. It's not approved by you guys. Like I said before, with those cool integrations that we have and some that are coming, everything runs off of check in and check out too. So as mom checks, yeah.
We're still seeing active supervision AI at this slide.
Oh no.
Yeah. So if we could just yeah, you may have to stop share and then reshare. There we go. I see
got it.
I see user request. Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you. So quick highlight. Here's all the things I just talked about so you can see them now, right? Like I said, cameras are here. All those recordings are here. Fun features at the top with mom and dad is you'll always know who's online. You'll have a cool engagement score. You'll see your top 5 cameras that are used. And then you'll always see your top 5 active users. I always tell people you're going to know who that mom and dad is on there because they're your involved parents and they want to be a part of as much as they can. But this will give you some notification who's there as well too. So lots of different things in here for everything. Like I said, one cool feature that I didn't get to mention is the reactions feature. And so this is a unique setup for mom and dad as they are logged in, they're watching the video, they see something amazing that happened and they just emotionally fell in love with the moment. They're going to click the heart on there. And this is a feature you can turn on or off. And what happens is when you capture that moment between mom and that experience, it's going to prompt them to leave a review. And so you connect your Google, your Yelp, whatever review process you guys have and capture it. Allow them to give you a testimonial right then and there without having to reach out for it. And so it's a really cool way to grab it. Now, there are some moments sometimes you'll see down here, April 14th at 8:41, Miss Kenyatta had a sad face. So something made her feel uncomfortable or sad about what was going on. Rest assured, they do not get the link to leave you a review at that point in time. What happens is they actually get taken to a page with articles about all the things that parents might see that's going on, whether that's a tantrum, whether it's a biting incident, whether all the things that happen that we all know are just normal parts to growing up, right? And to being in early childhood education. That's not a crazy thing for us, but we need to be able to give mom and dad the empowerment to know what's going on and the why. And so it's a great resource for center for them. Again, cool features you guys can turn on or off. AI, let's jump into the AI real quick. So as I mentioned before, just wanted to show you what this looks like. As we get in here, you can see you'll have the AI supervision tab on the left-hand side. And as this comes up, you're actually going to see all the events and you'll have today's events or the last 7 days. You can create your own processes of how many days you want to go back. And each one of these incidents are levelized of camera, location, and when it happened. And I'm going to pull it up, and I'm not going to play it. But this scenario right now is a room full of kids that are on the carpet down here where there is no adult going on. And so it immediately sends a notification.
Okay, again, we're not seeing that. We're just seeing the list still of the hearts and unhappy faces.
Got it. It's a pop-up window, so I'm wondering if maybe this doesn't.
Yeah, I think in this system, every time there's a pop-up, you'll need to reshare it or something. But now we can see the classroom.
Gotcha. I appreciate the patience. It's a new software system I've not used before for presenting. So sorry about that, guys. Okay, so as mentioned, here we are. It is blurred out just for the protection of the school and the students right now. But in here, there's a little system going on down at the bottom that they're all on the rug, and there is no adult present. And so it'll time from the start of that event to the end of that event, and then it'll log it for you. And then you'll go in and you'll be able to see not only what's going on, but then you're going to tag it, right? And so as you tag it, when you tag those pieces, you'll be able to hit those supervision settings. And when that tag comes up, it's going to be, boom, this was an actual incident, or no, this was a training, or this wasn't an incident at all. Because remember, AI is only as good as what we trained it to be, right? So the more we put into it, the more we're going to get out of it. And it's going to learn your classroom. It's going to learn the setup, the furniture, all that into the room takes a little bit of time. So like I mentioned at the very beginning, you guys are creating your own AI model basically for your classroom and your school to be able to work on what you need to work on. So one more thing I'd love to show you guys. Let us jump over to a fun little video, and it'll just kind of go everything. And I'm going to try and share this video. You know what? We're going to share the video and we're going to get caught. So we're going to stop sharing, and then we're going to reshare the right way.
Thank you.
Yeah, listen, we learned. It's like an AI model, right? Let's see. And there we go. Enlarge that guy. And this will have some sound.
You run a child care center, you already know that you can't be everywhere at once. That's why active supervision from Watch Me Grow exists. If a child is visible in the room and no teacher is, you get a text right then, not later. Alerts matter. Thankfully, they don't happen often, because no human can catch every small moment that strengthens or strains a classroom. So our timeline fills the gap, surfacing patterns you can't see in real time and helping you reinforce what's working and fix what's not. This isn't surveillance, it's support. Not fear, but foresight. Active supervision. Not watching more, watching smarter. Curious? See how it works.
All right, so why that's such an important piece is the promo video that comes with it, the collateral we have around it, is to be able to give you guys not only a competitive edge in your market, but also to use it with mom and dad. Because when you show mom and dad you have something like this in place, that is a huge boost for them. To show that the amount of care that they feel and see in you is also inside the pieces to the program that you've built is such a cool feature. As a dad that's walked through multiple child care centers as well, I totally understand the feels that go along with it and the things that we look for. Now, those things have evolved and changed based on features and some personalities there over the last decade or two, but to see those things hits home. And so we want to make sure you have all that as well as you guys go on this adventure with new pieces to the puzzle. I always like to leave with this. We are a partner. Our goal is always to build you guys up and to present something that is, just a tool in the toolbox of part of what you do. And for what we've done over the last 20 years, and I've done this for 15 now, is to really just walk alongside you guys and understand what it is that you need on a day-to-day basis and how do we bring it to the table. So today I got to present a handful of things that we've done and that we're working on, but the sky's the limit as far as what we're doing next. There's so many things in the AI world that we want to add on to that, from ratio monitoring day to day, because as a lady spoke a few minutes ago, she's just doesn't even want to think about ratios right now. Great. how can we handle that for you guys going forward? So it's all automatic. The other thing we want to do is engagement. We want to be able to give you guys an observation suite that gives you a score of how often, teachers are on the ground interacting, how often they one-on-one with everything, really creating a data set that you guys can use to train your team, because there's such a great analogy of a greenhouse. And when we build a culture around a greenhouse effect of trying to build our team and getting them to be what I like to call a rose bush. Like, you hire an azalea, you don't want them to be a rose bush because they can't be. But how can I make them be the best azalea possible by giving them the tool set? And the same thing goes for any other type of flower, right? We can't make them different flowers. We just want to make them the best piece to the puzzle that they can be with the skill set they have. And so these training pieces are going to be a huge part of that going forward within the ECE industry. So that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate the time. Love to chat with anybody that's got any questions, recommendations, new ideas. Always bringing things to the table. Love it. Anything you got for me, Miss Dawn?
I just think, let's see here. You and I didn't set up the sign up process for this or getting a consult or whatever. So if people will just email me,
Yeah.
I'll do an introduction email to
Beautiful.
Sam for you so that we can get you connected. If you're interested, you can find out more that way. And then generally, can you give them an idea of general pricing for
Sure.
that so that they have an idea up front?
Yeah, absolutely. So what Ms. Dawn and I have talked about too is we want to make sure you guys are taken care of, and obviously we'll have some special pricing surrounded around you guys. And what we'll do is we generally try to start off in two different fashions, and we'll either try to integrate into an existing system that's in the school. So if we can just use the cameras that are there, our goal is to use what's there. So we don't want to spend money on anything we don't need to. However, if you guys need a new camera system, it's time for an update. We need to add areas. That is our expertise. I have probably done more camera plots in my life than most contractors. I could probably put one together in my sleep these days, but there's an art to it, and it's trying to make sure we capture every piece of the room, trying to make sure we cover playgrounds and walking. There's no blind spots. Where is interactions happening in the doorways? All those kind of things from just a risk mitigation standpoint. And so we go through that whole process with you guys. And it's tough. I would say a range can anywhere be from $1,500 to $2,000, upwards of $8,000. Now, that's obviously, we're talking 40 cameras and all the bells and whistles and things like that. And so on the monthly subscription to it changes a little bit too, based upon what pieces of the function of the Watch Me Grow program you guys want to utilize. So from $100 to $300 or $400. So again, all these things are fluctuating based upon what it is you guys want to use and how much you actually need. So, but that's kind of the range these days.
And whether or not you're just doing admin control, or if you're inviting parents in to see your classrooms via video as well, right? So there's all kinds of different ranges there. And so really, if you're interested in this, it is worth the time to connect with Sam and have a conversation around what the pricing would look like for you. Thank you, Sam, for coming and just giving them an overview of something that's new and amazing that can support programs and help them to stand out. So appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Enjoy your conference.
Back to it. There's a great one on culture, right? Everybody's working.
Nice.
Culture,
Okay.
so that's where I'm headed.
Have a good time.
Thanks,
Thank you. I'll talk with you later.
Yes, ma'am. Have a great one.
Okay. And then, guys, we now have Travis O here from Playtag AI, and he's going to present for you about StoryLine, which is AI used in a very different way for a different purpose. And so we'll let him take that.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Don, are we good? Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about our services as well. Watch Me Grow is a dear friend of ours. We've worked together last year, and since then we're now kind of going in different directions, but we are glad to see that they're progressing with AI as well. Let me share my screen. Let's see how we can. Okay, I think this is fine. Excellent. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Yeah. Okay. Can you just make sure, is my screen showing my?
Yeah, it is. You're good.
Okay, great. It's just when I share, I can't see anybody. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out after. So I'm representing a company called Playtag, which is actually a AI-based vision technology company. And part of what we do is we try to see the world or develop a model in which cameras and computers can see the world like we do. And as Sam was talking about, it's actually quite difficult to simply detect what is going on in the environment and hence need some human help. But what we've done in the last 4 years is really build a camera system or a computer vision system that can go almost beyond what we can do. So let me explain what I mean by that. Before we do, as you're all representing a very important industry in this society of early childhood education. And what we know is that the most important thing when it comes to early childhood education is observation. And through observation, you can really see how the child is progressing, how they're acting, how they are interacting with the environment. And when we first reached out and launched this service called StoryLine, this was way back in actually about 2 3 years ago when we realized that real learning happens through play. So we believe, and in agreement with Froebel and Montessori and all others, that knowledge transfer by sitting the kids down and teaching them ABCs or 1+1s is not really how young children learn, and that what we strive for is to support preschools really come up with an excellent environment in which children can grow like gardens in the seed. So when we started observing and working with preschools, we realized that the way top preschools work, the places where children learn the most, work like a scientific methodology where you observe the children play, you interpret their behavior, and design the classroom in which the children will grow, along with the supervision and guidance of the teachers. Now, in order to make this happen, and all of you know much better than I do in terms of how the role of the teacher is, the teacher not only has to nurture the kids, but they have to be scientists in a way that they should record each child's activities, their developmental progress, assessments, just to take note of how the child or how every child is growing. Yet, when we, and I hope this works, the video might not show up as well. This is one of our preschools with consent in Korea, is that the children, they are all over the place in the classroom, and even with two teachers or three, there's a lot of things going on that can hinder what the teacher can observe. So in reality, it's actually quite impossible to implement these idealistic theories of observing every child in play. So one way to make it possible is you can hire 5 or 6 teachers in the classroom and have them 1 to 2, 1 to 3 ratios, which is actually quite difficult. And even financially, and even if you pull that off, it's hard to observe each child constantly and objectively, as we all know, including myself. So I didn't really introduce my background, but I'm actually a marketing professor doing research and teaching. So this is my dual job per se. But I also know I have my favorite students and whatnot, although I try to be objective. And so what we've done as a company is to use this computer vision technology to help support teachers and empower teachers to make better educational environments through AI-driven data. So the difference that we have with any other company is that we've built a training model. So it's already fully trained on 7, now probably going up to 10 million hours of data. And through this data, we've built 3 core service features, and we have a lot more upcoming this year as well that we can share later. So the way the technology works is that we have multiple cameras in the classroom tracking each child and what they're doing at that time in the environment. So this is the utmost cutting edge technology where you actually ID each child and to see how they're interacting with the environment. So we're not just detecting whether this is a child or an adult, but we're actually detecting what they're actually doing at each moment. So with that data, the first service that we provide is how active the children are. You know that some children tend to be sitting in the corner and tend to be more sitting down, whereas you have other children who tend to walk around and run around a lot in the classroom. Now, why does this data help teachers or preschools? You can actually track over time how students or children change in their activity levels. So how many steps they're taking, how fast they're moving. We've been working with some educational consultants and education leaders, and we're now studying how the number of steps or the amount of activity leads to children's developmental progress, and how different teachers and different classrooms can influence the amount of activity per classroom. So this is our first metric. The second metric is very cool, where through AI, it will determine probabilistically what the child is doing at each time with the highest probability. So the system will understand that these kids are doing art, and as the teacher pulls out language worksheets, it will now determine, as the students start to gather around, that they're now engaged in language activities. So with this as well, you can actually see over time what each child is doing throughout their observed times and what they gravitate toward in comparison to the class average. This also helps teachers see how their curriculum is changing. And based on this data, they may want to emphasize or change their class design to promote certain activities more or less. The last piece of the puzzle here is the social interaction, where based on metrics like proximity, gaze, and interaction, we will determine how each child is socially initiating with others. So as you see, this little child on the left corner tends to drift away, and so he will be shown as a little more introverted and less socially active, where there's some children that just move along and make friends with everyone. And you can see who each child played with for the day, but also over the months. These are just our demo children. And you can see for the families, if you share this with the families, they also know how socially active or how socially they're progressing in their developmental phase, which we've heard back that this was something very important for a lot of families to understand how their child is socially growing. And so the service that we provide through these cutting edge metrics is not just data, but we actually summarize and organize this data. We provide it in web apps and mobile apps. I don't have a specific demo to show in this particular time now, but we can also do that, where we will capture key moments, pictures, and about 3 video clips of 3 to 5 seconds of every child. So this is all automated, so that the teacher doesn't have to necessarily take photos of every child every day, which we all know takes a lot of time for the teachers. And so you can download the pictures, you can use our app to push to the families, or you can take your own pictures and also put them in here, or download the pictures and integrate it with whatever CMS tool you are using. So this is one element of our service. The other one is that with data, I think we have a good number, 5 to 6 PhDs now, including myself in the company, where we create reports using the data to show what the child or how the child is doing and progressing over a quarter, so about 3 months. And our service users or preschools have told us that this has helped immensely when it comes to communicating with families for teacher-family conferences, and also to see how the children are changing over time, and they can use the data to show that. So the metrics are shown, it's all customized. The teacher can also add a custom comment, and it will be printed out nicely to share, or through PDF to share with the families. We create a collage of images that can also be shared with families, showing this is what they've been doing for the month. Again, completely automated, but with all the controls from the teacher. So the teacher gets to decide what pictures to go in, what not to go in if they do not like what they see. The other reports that we provide is the class assessment. So not at the child level, but for the preschool level and the teacher level, they can see if there are any children that are outliers. Very interestingly, so we're right now in about 1,000 classrooms. with approximately 10, actually a little more than 10,000 children that we captured for the last 2 years. And outliers are not very common. But when they do happen, we have noticed that it does accurately detect. We have children in special needs classrooms that are showing up in our data. Sometimes there are children who are at a spectrum disorder of autism that were not necessarily diagnosed, but our system suggested that they may want to go see therapists. Which also we had some confirmed cases, which was also very interesting. But this kind of gives a snapshot for the teacher to see which child, through objective data, is progressing. Lastly, we're kind of finishing up all the translations, but we also provide a full at-home activity book where parents can also use the data and the report that they receive to work or have activities with children with simple things like toilet papers or other easy to find materials to engage in activities. So that's our technology. And what we're trying to achieve here, like our mission and goal, really is to empower teachers, help them focus on the nurturing and educating. As we all know, this is actually a whole thing for all countries, not just the US, but teacher turnover rates and retention rates are a big problem in the early childhood industry because there's so much to do, so much to work on, like taking pictures, writing reports, when a lot of teachers really just want to focus on the nurturing and educating aspects of the teaching. And so what we're trying to do is to help minimize the burden when it comes to observation notes, interpretations, and reporting. And the one thing that I wanted to emphasize is that through our service, we have heard back many, many times that it has helped with the trust when it comes with communicating with the parents and families. Not only that, teachers have reported back to us that it has helped them communicate with the preschool directors and owners of making good changes. We want to, make sure the teachers are acknowledged for their hard work, and not just through verbal stories and narratives, which is important, but through objective data like us that help them understand what can be improved, what are they doing well, so on and so forth, which is actually one of our core objectives this year, to provide teacher analytics and metrics to help the teacher also improve in their teaching if necessary. Okay, so that's what we go for. And we always emphasize the teachers, now that some of them are in their second year, sometimes they over rely on our data. So we always tell them it's always extremely important to have the qualitative observation interaction with the children along with our quantitative data to really help build that children's garden. So that's kind of our service and story. And I'll just make it very brief. We're super focused on providing the utmost privacy and security system, very similar to Watch Me Grow's system, in which a little more than that though, where we have our local storage NAS switch devices that are always hardwired locally, so that no video footage or recordings are flying around Wi-Fi or in the cloud, but it's locally stored first, and that is where it stays for 30 days. And then it moves on to the secure AWS servers in the US through cloud, where it's processed only for up to 48 hours, and it's all deleted in the cloud. So the children's images or data files are never stored in the cloud for prolonged periods of time, just for safety and security. It's all stored in the local storage, and even those local storage devices, the recordings will be deleted after 30 days. And so I'll skip this for the sake of time, but it's very easy to start with us. All it takes is really the internet speed check, and then we also have a lot of materials to help with parent consent. Not all children have to consent. Our system can block out and not track or monitor children who have opted out. And then simply we install the cameras and you're good to go. If you're interested in having me present this demo to your team, or if you have additional questions, please contact me at travis.o@playtag.ai, or you can communicate with Don, and then we can be connected for a separate meeting. last thing I know, in the previous presentation, I wanted some pricing. So one thing we're doing right now, as we are still navigating the waters in the US, we are offering a pilot program. So let me stop sharing here so I can at least see the screen. And go back here. Okay. We're running a pilot program in which we're offering free hardware equipment and free services for 3 months with no obligation. So after 3 months, if you opt to not use our services, we're happy to uninstall and take out the cameras all yourselves and by ourselves. And so we're really offering this at this moment up to the summer. So if you want to take advantage of that, please reach out to Don and we can get that started. Yeah, I think
Does
that's
anyone have
all I have.
questions for Travis?
Ooh, we lost one.
We lost a few, but that's
Yeah.
okay. If you
I've got a question.
go
So
for it.
thank you for the presentation, Travis.
Is this
My
Colin?
name is
Sorry,
my
I
name is
can't see.
Colin.
Okay. Hi.
I understand the pilot program. Can you tell me what ongoing, like monthly services look like? What would that
Correct.
cost?
So for those who participate in our pilot program, we offer a promotional pricing of 50%. So around 125 to $150 per month for the first 12 months. And then it will, depending on the number of classrooms you do, it will be somewhere around $200 per month per classroom.
So around $200 per month per classroom.
Correct.
after the first year.
Okay, so I have 11 classrooms, so we're looking at about more than $2,000 per month, 2,200 per month.
Yes. So if you do more than, like, we have right now, we just signed an 8 classroom preschool where then we will obviously work with you in terms of pricing to put that keep it lower, or what we've been experimenting or working with similar to Watch Me Grow is to eventually, the reason why we have a significant pilot promotion is to help families and preschools to see the value of our services, and then eventually transition where the parents will be paying for the services.
So the parents would pay for the services, not the schools?
Oh, no. So the schools will pay, but the schools, what a lot of preschools are doing is basically including it as part of their tuition, or an option to opt in to have our app so that they can log in, the families can log into our app and see all the data for their children.
Got it. Got it. So, do you have an idea of, let's say we're talking about an 11 classroom school like mine, of, what we could get that monthly fee down to? I think the service sounds great. I think the reality of the situation is parents are not willing to pay anymore, right? There are, I think majority of schools are not raising tuition
Mhm.
annually the way that they used to, and the value add um, that getting this data would be for the families. I don't think they would be willing to pay extra for it, at least not currently, right?
Right. So there's two
Makes
aspects, I think, and that's a great question and something we all have to, I guess, work towards. One is that our services do reduce a significant amount of teacher reporting work time, where all the pictures are also automatically captured, so they can send that to families each day, and that actually has been a great value point for families, where they can see children in action. Whether they're doing art, then our system will capture the moment doing art and then label it as art. But that set aside, in terms of money wise, I would probably recommend not even going to 10, 11 yet, but starting with 1 or 2 classrooms as a pilot program. And we will take the tab for all of that and then see if if our services provide enough value to you, to your teachers, to your directors, to the families. And if you consider that, yes, this is something that we should definitely have, and the parents are very satisfied, then we can move forward to additional classrooms. And I could probably add the promotional pricing to that but it would be somewhere between 150 per month.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
And I would say, obviously, like the elephant in the room, UPK classrooms would be ideal for this, just because that would give us some tangible data in the state about what's happening in private industry, right? That would
Mhm.
be tremendous.
So, Colin, another thing we've been working really hard to do is actually get funding from state governments. Florida has been pretty active, and we're moving along the process of grants and whatnot, where the bulk of the cost incurred actually is the initial installation and labor, which we usually subsidize and pay for. We're paying for the pilot programs.
Mhm.
And then the monthly fee, as it scales, we know we can grow with that. The reason a lot of the monthly fee is based on, like, as Watch Me Grow was saying, like anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000 to install, and that's really where we're trying to recoup as well. But if I know ECEA maybe also could help if you see any grants that open up for the state of Colorado or whatnot. That's another way to
No,
work together.
it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense, right? And I get it. You're waiving a
Mhm.
significant amount of the upfront cost, right?
Yeah.
Which again is difficult to do and have low monthly fees as well. I
Yeah.
think the state funding route makes a lot of sense too. It's just we're in a challenging environment in the U.S. right now. Most states are looking at significant budget deficits. So.
Mhm. Yeah. So, but yeah, we're happy to work with you again. I think it doesn't hurt at all to start a pilot program, maybe with 1 or 2 classrooms, and see how it goes. We have the funding ready for that, up to about 30 classrooms, and we now have a good 20 or so. So we're looking to be more selective in who we partner with. But generally, we definitely want to work with those. I see that your preschool says STEM childcare, and so we
Yes.
do want to work with preschools that are in the forefront of all this technology, and we're really, the level of AI technology that we have is unparalleled to any other country, any other company right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, feel free to email me, and I'll maybe, Don, if you can let me know, I'll reach out to, I'll send you some information sheets and whatnot through
Yeah,
Don.
I can connect you for sure.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Travis. I just love what you have to offer people, and you've put in millions of hours of classroom time for the development of this tool. I think it's an extraordinary thing. So appreciate that. So I will definitely be in touch, and we'll keep promoting what you have to offer, and hopefully we get some takers that engage with you on all this, because we think you're
Absolutely.
truly, truly cutting edge. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good
Thank you.
day. Thank you, Colin. Bye.
Bye. And then let's see here. Just as I'm recording, I want you guys to see something. We have at ECEA, we've got a new page up now. And so if you go to our main website, you go to advocacy and go down to um, county funding map, you're going to see a new page here, which is an interactive map that tells you what counties are investing in childcare. So I'm going to encourage you to go to that and look for that and see what's happening in your area. If you have questions, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about any of that. You guys have a great day. Stop.